Welcome to Psychological Explorations with Dr. Michael Axelman and Daniela. Today we explore an essay by Wilson Van Dusen. Van Dusen had just a remarkable career working at the inpatient facility at Mendocino State Hospital in Ukiah, California, for over a decade prior to it being closed. And he co-authored papers with Carl Rogers and Fritz Perls, many others. Somebody who brought an approach of phenomenology, a very close examination without getting too caught up in at the abstractions. Also very influenced by the writings of Swedenborg, and a lot of his books brought to light his approach towards schizophrenia and psychosis. Today we'll be looking at a paper that he first published in 1958, and it was republished in the Gestalt collection, Gestalt Is, that came out in 1975. It's entitled Wu Wei, No Mind, and the Fertile Void. Wu Wei is an ancient Chinese concept that could roughly be translated as effortless action. We'll be exploring kind of the holes and the void today as we move into this wonderfully interesting and compelling presentation. And the focus is going to be on what is not there. Quoting Hui Ning, from the first, not a thing is. Though clay may be molded into a vase, the utility of the vase lies in what is not there. Lao Tzu. An awesome whole. Van Dusen posits at the very center of psychotherapeutic experiences, there is an awesome whole. My point is quite simple. The whole is the very center and heart of therapeutic change. The void is not known in the psychoanalysis of the Western world. And in my personal experience as a therapist, I've been just struck the way that this metaphor of the whole, the empty space, has come up again and again in treatments. The void is seen by Western psychoanalysis as a going back, returning to the origin, as a destruction and a loss of the ego development. The main implication is of a weakness, so that one has to start over instead of moving on from here. The going back can be totally destructive, as in the chronic schizophrenic, or it can be productive, as in the so-called therapeutic regression in the service of the ego that has been spoken about at length by Anna Freud. The phenomenological approach. In the phenomenological approach, one simply attempts to discover the world of the patient as it is for him, without reducing it to any pseudoscientific categories, obsessional, anal, etc. In careful examination of the words of others, I came across many blank spaces. For a moment, the patient couldn't concentrate, couldn't hear me, couldn't remember what he intended to say, or felt nothing. More and more it came to appear that these black holes lay at the center of psychopathology. So what are the holes, right? Any sort of defect, blankness, failure of memory, failure of concentration, loss of meaning. Also absences I have found when there's something that is expected to have been there. Perhaps the loss of a parent. One's left with a hole in what could have been an object representation of that person. In the hole, one momentarily loses oneself. Holes are important in every psychopathology. In the obsessive compulsive, a loss of order and control. In the depressive, the black hole of time standing still. In the character disorders, an unbearable ambivalence. In schizophrenia, the encroachment of meaninglessness or terror. In every case, they represent the unknown, the unnamed threat, the source of anxiety and the fear of disintegration. They are nothingness, non-being, and death. So what do people do when blankness encroaches? Many talk to fill up the space. Many must act to fill the empty space with themselves. In all cases, it must be filled up or sealed off. I have yet to see a case of psychopathology where the blankness was comfortably tolerated. The pathology appears to be in reaction to the void. Normal and often very creative individuals can allow themselves to become blank and to think of nothing with an expectation and come out of it with the idea for a painting or another work of art. Many have deliberately used the void to find creative solutions to problems. The neurotic and psychotic struggle against it. So while in the East we see the void primarily as a regression, in the Orient, emptiness has supreme value. If the patient obsessively plotted every move and worried everything into existence, he was encouraged to drift. If he anxiously filled the space with words, we worked a while at wordlessness. The person who feared going down into depression permitted himself to go down and explore going down. The feared empty space is a fertile void. Exploring it is a turning point towards therapeutic change. So, Van Dusen, what I learned was quite simple. When we are threatened by the void and attempt to crawl out or fill it up by keeping our minds centered, the mind dusting of Zen, the void grows and encroaches on our will. When one sleeps in the void, allows himself to drift willy-nilly, he stumbles upon surprising new things in the void. It is a fertile emptiness. The meaning of the void and how it appears in the transference relationship must be discovered anew in each case. One feels helpless and waits for this kind of emergent meaning. So somehow being able to come up to the edge of the void and exhale, drop the feet and learn to relax. Thank you for joining us once again for another presentation from Psychological Explorations. Please come back and join us for future podcasts. Take care for now.